how's it going? Welcome to this channel, IG Stresses. If you're new here, please accept my warm welcome. Thanks so much for stopping by. You will learn so much here, I promise. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you loads. Thank you so much for tuning in, for the continual support. I don't take it for granted. Yes, in this video, I want to share how you can retain length with your new growths from doing almost nothing. You don't need to break the bank. You don't need to break the bank. No serious spending. You can get massive, extreme hair growth and length retention with these secrets. Yeah, I think I'll call them that because you don't hear people say these things as often as they should. Before we get into everything, let me just say that this is not your typical YouTube video, and that thing you're expecting to hear from me, you may not get it here. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything and pat you on the back telling you you're almost there when you're not. When you're not doing things to support length retention for your hair. Yes, what I mean by that is that doing nothing is not an option, and that's why I'll tell you to subscribe to this channel to not miss out on these practical tips that will give you actual realistic results, which is okay by me and better than nothing. Small results are better than no results at all. I am not promoting the use of Ayurveda treatments as the only way. Rosemary and cloves don't need to work for you. Neem water may not do anything for you. Even moringa oil may not help with much. Your favorite protective style may not be protecting nothing. I've been there, and it's okay for these things not to work, but that doesn't mean it's the end of the road for you. Coming to the YouTube space, I always knew that the natural hair niche is highly saturated. There's just a ton of people claiming to be know-it-alls with their taglines, overnight hair growth, 1 inch in 2 days. How is that even possible? That basically goes against the natural cycle of hair growth. If they said 1 inch in 1 month, that is way more realistic. But 1 inch in a day or two, come on now. And there are just a few others out of this percentage who actually spill truths. And what is truth? Truth to me is sharing your experience and how you got there from doing what you did. Realistic, relatable results with steps that people can actually follow. Truth to me is putting yourself in the shoes of others, knowing that your experiences are different, your hair type is different. Basically, the truth is always simple and accessible. And in this channel, I'm not going to keep that truth away from you. So if whatever I'm going to share here is not simple and accessible to you, then it's not truth for you. I give you permission to leave. I'm serious. You don't need to boil anything. You don't need to preserve anything. You don't need to pluck this leaf, soak it in oil, deep condition your hair using some complicated strategy. No, that is truth. My truth. And the truth to anyone who is really being honest with themselves, because length retention on natural hair, even 4C hair, is like the simplest thing if you know what you're doing. Go and ask those who are retaining massive length despite big chopping year in, year out. And they'll tell you that lazy natural hair routines are the way to go because you're not stressing your hair. Don't stress your hair, don't stress yourself, and your hair will grow and retain length as it should without any hindrances. Take it from me, guys. I'm just a girl here to share how I finally retained length with almost no money because I did not spend much. I don't think everything cost me up to 4,000 naira, which is below $5 even. And I broke that cycle of stunted hair growth. No expensive products needed, no DIY, no going under the knife, because there was actually no medical condition stopping my hair growth. And that is the case with many people, even you watching this video. For most people, there is no medical condition stopping hair growth for them. They are just doing the wrong things and looking up the wrong places. So if this is you, keep watching, grab your notebook, and make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let's retain this length together. Don't sleep on this. The first thing I want to tell you may be quite controversial, and that is stop sharing people's products. Yes. How many of us like sharing stuff? Combs, hair products, and all. Let me see those hands up. I'm just kidding, but Anyway, I'm going somewhere with this. I'm not saying this to entirely cancel sharing, but the problem I found with this habit is that it makes you to never stick to one product at a time. It makes you lazy in discovering what works for you. It could contaminate your hair. Yes, that is a true fact. And even though there may not be a lot of data out there on this, there's proof to suggest that lice and some scalp infections can be passed from sharing combs, from sharing brushes, from sharing products, basically, even hair creams and gels. The second thing I want you to know is to start practicing hands-free hair care. Hands-free. If breakage is extreme for you, go on hands-free hair care for as long as you can. I may release a separate video on that if you don't know what that is. You are not going to touch your hair. And even when you do, the reason should be to apply product or wash your hair. And even when you apply products, you're going to wear plastic hand gloves. Yeah, this may seem too extreme and ridiculous to some people, but the fact is that you want to avoid direct contact between your skin and hair as much as possible. And before you complain, this is actually simple to follow once you start. It's not hard, just start. You may be shocked how well this may transform hair growth and length retention for you. It could just be that missing piece of the puzzle. All the problems of nail snagging will be a thing of the past. You basically put an end to all those headaches from simply adopting this routine, this hands-free hair routine. And if you have hands in hair syndrome, which I might talk about later, you have to start working on that because it will be a huge obstacle to following this step. The third thing is to practice mindfulness. For those of you with thick, coarse hair that doesn't easily snag, you may or may not be able to relate to this tip, but for our fine-haired naturals, there's no way you can relate to this. Come on. Random people touching your hair. Anyone? Random people touching your hair can actually affect your hair growth and length retention in a huge way. I even have this experience where someone I know was like, "Girl, is that your hair? It has grown, no?" Then she dragged one plait at the back because I had my hair in mini twists. So she dragged one plait and I felt the pressure. I could hear a hair strand snag or break, something like that. Even though it lasted for like a second, I knew something happened to my hair. To her, it was nothing. She was just checking out my hair for a sec, but I knew something had happened. I knew I just lost a hair strand or more than one hair strand because my strands are fine and she pulled on them roughly. It is that easy to lose our hair, especially if it keeps happening, especially if you're 4C and you have fine hair, fragile hair, coily hair. During this time, I didn't care much because I wasn't really about retaining length. And let me tell you that letting things like this slide are what eventually kept me in a hair growth plateau until I started doing things differently. So I would say you can politely refuse people from touching your hair or let them know they have to be gentle. Just be mindful out there, guys. The next thing is to stop moisturizing with only water. Water doesn't moisturize natural hair. I'm worried at the percentage of naturals that still carry about the notion that water is enough. Water isn't enough to keep your hair moisturized. No matter your porosity, you need more. What am I saying? You can even skip water in your hair routine and your hair will be moisturized, soft and manageable. Why? Because water hydrates, it doesn't moisturize. There are Ayurveda rinses which are more moisturizing than simply water. And even those things are not enough. There's oils, there's butters and leave-ins with sleep. Hold on first. Are humectants a joke to you? Start using humectants like glycerin, slippery elm, aloe vera gel as your base product before applying other products. I'm not recommending any moisture rule like LCO, LOC method. You have to know your hair, okay? You have to know what your hair loves. Follow a moisture routine that will keep those hair strands moisturized for longer and stick to it. Don't sleep on humectants, they can change the game for you. So if there's anything I want you to take out from this video, it's that your hair will grow whether you use certain scarves, certain pillowcases, silk scarves or not. Your hair will grow. Ayurveda or not, your hair will grow protective style or not, your hair will grow products or not. But what each of these things will do is to help in length retention. So you're going to still need them technically in order to see faster length retention. I hope you found this video helpful. I hope you found it useful. And I really know that if you take these tips into consideration, you're going to retain massive length in a very short time, especially if you have been in a hair growth plateau for a while and you've not been seeing any new growth. You're going to retain that length. So please do put these tips into action and let me know how well it worked for you. If you still haven't subscribed to this channel, do hit the subscribe button and share this video to someone. Like this video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.